Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sobriety and Everything Else. My name is Eric Andrew, your friendly neighborhood sobriety coach and your friendly neighborhood host for this afternoon. And I'm coming to you live from my studios in my little condo where I have rearranged my dining room into a studio, so to speak. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome. I want to apologize first off. I missed a day. I was supposed to be on here last week. I didn't get a chance to get on here. I actually have been sick. I've been fighting bronchitis and just started to feel better this week. Still have a lingering cough, but I'm getting there. So just wanted to get on here. So I'm going to do a show today, and then I'm going to do one last show next week for the end of the year, which will involve the holiday, more about the holidays and what's coming up and all that kind of stuff. But today, before I start, actually, a couple of things I wanted to say. So if you really need to reach out to me and you're thinking about maybe coaching, if you want to just have a wrap session so we can kind of see if this might be your thing for the first of the year, I want to do a special the first of the year. So please hit me up about that, and we'll talk further about it. But or if you're just curious about it, you're what we call sober curious. You're kind of trying to figure this thing out for yourself. Please hit me up. My email is ericandrewcoaching12@gmail.com. That's ericandrewcoaching12@gmail.com. So you can get me there. I also have a website. It's ericandrewcoaching.com. Is actually the website. So you can always go there. I am on Facebook and on Instagram. It's E lower underline, or what do they call that? E lower underline coach at E underline coach. I'll put all this in the show notes so you'll be able to get them if you need them. Also, unfortunately, we are in this time of year where people are really struggling. And, if you find yourself really struggling and you're kind of in that place where you're starting to think, I don't know if I really want this to keep going. I'm not liking what's happening, and you're really having a hard time. Please reach out. Use the number 988. That is the hotline for mental health and suicide. It's very important especially if you're alone and you don't have anybody that you can reach out to and you're not in therapy yet. Please take care of yourselves. Reach out. You're all worth it. All of us are worth it. And we definitely deserve a shot. So take the shot, call for help. If it's not that, then reach out to a friend, reach out to me, reach out to anybody. We want to be there to help you. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so enough of the PSAs. All right, so I want to get into today's session, and I want to talk about acceptance and being humble. And the reason why I want to talk about that is when we do think about, even though I told you we're going to talk about the holidays next week, I'll be bringing them up a little bit, because when we do talk about the holidays, or when we get into the holidays, there's such an opportunity there for us to get triggered, right? To get revved up, especially by family maybe that we don't see very often, for certain reasons that we don't see them very often. Certainly because of our own busy lives, we might not see them that often. And now we're going to be with them during the holiday time for probably an extended period. And those people tend to trigger us. Also, if we're hosting a party or a dinner or anything like that, we're worried about everything being right and perfect and how everybody thinks about us and everything else. Maybe we're trying to run out and get the gifts for the holidays and get them all lined up and ready to go, and trying to make sure everybody gets what they want and all that good stuff, and worrying about money and worrying about time and job and getting everybody to where they have to be at different times. It's a lot, and it's exhausting. So first off, I would say to all of you, just take a step back and take a breath. Take a breath, maybe two. Really just allow yourself to be in that moment. Just center yourself in that moment for a second. Because you're important to all of this. You're not just the person making the meal or running out to get the gifts or trying to make everybody else happy. You are part of this. You are also wanting to be happy and enjoy the holidays for what they are. So I think it's really important that we understand there's certain things that we can't control. Certainly we can't control time. Time is just what it is. And if we have a family, running around and all of that kind of stuff, whether it's children or whether it's family from out of town, I'm actually going to have family in from out of town. It tends to become this thing where we try to control time, and we can't. There's no controlling time. We also can't control people. We can't control how they think or how they feel or what they're bringing into the holidays with themselves. Remember, we all have lives, right? You have a life, I have a life, we all have lives. And in those lives, there are things that are going on. Things probably that we're not liking too much, or that we're frustrated with or struggling with, or upset about maybe. And those things tend to inform how we react to people and how we deal with people. So just keep that in mind, that when somebody is lashing out at you or upset with you or raise their voice, it may not have anything to do with you. It may just be them. It may be something that's going on for them. And maybe the best thing to do, instead of getting frustrated and going back after them, maybe just kind of say, hey, are you all right? Is everything okay? Now, maybe they may say, well, I'm fine, just leave me alone. But that might end the conflict, right? Or they might actually open up and say, it's been a tough last couple of months, or whatever it might be, and they might be willing to talk. And a lot of times, if you can just be that listener and let them get it out, it will solve a lot of problems. So sometimes it's just this idea that we just need to accept what is in front of us. We need to accept the people that are in front of us. If we're in sobriety, or if we're thinking about sobriety, or if we're just unsure about our own drinking, we need to accept all of that. We need to try to come to this place where we can accept ourselves in that place. Can I accept myself as maybe having a drinking problem? Can I accept myself in the world of sobriety? Where do I fit in that world? Can I accept myself that this is just the next step in my own personal life journey? And that's okay. What a big gift that is when we can accept ourselves for where we're at and be okay with the fact that we're struggling, that maybe alcohol, or maybe it's drugs, whatever it might be, just we have no control over it. And we're in this place where we know it's time to make a decision, something that's going to benefit not only us, but the people around us. So acceptance in this time, whether it's for ourselves or whether it's about other people in our lives, is super important. So I would really encourage you to try to deal with that and allow yourself to take a step back, take a breath. Just remember that the other person might be going through something. And instead of getting angry and lashing back out, maybe we just need to show a little compassion. We need to accept that they're in the place that they're in, right? The other part of this, and this all, by the way, is tying into my own sobriety. When I learn how to accept people for where they're at, and that's really the key thing, is from where they're at, which today may not be as good of a day as yesterday was, or today may be a great day and tomorrow might not be a good day. That's where they're at. So for me to be able to accept them as to where they're at, and to also accept myself as to where I'm at and my own recovery journey, and that my recovery journey is only part of my overall life journey, and that it all kind of informs each other as to what's going to happen next. So when I can do that, I can kind of get out of my way, and I can kind of zoom out a little bit and take a look at where I'm at and what's going on, and just realize that what I'm doing is just part of the next step, right? So one of the things that really comes up for me in all of that too, that I've had to learn, is this idea of being humble. Now, humble for me has been a struggle, and it's still a struggle. I tend to want to think I'm the smartest guy in the room. I tend to want to think I've got this, I understand this, and that could be, and has been, recovery and sobriety, but that has also been other aspects of my life, with friends, with other people. And I can get really frustrated with people when they don't see it my way, right? Uh, I feel like sometimes that I have the answer and everybody else does not. And I've had to learn, first off, I had to get humble within my own idea of recovery. I had to realize that this is where I'm at, and that's okay. And that doesn't make me a bad person. That doesn't make me less than. That doesn't make me imperfect. Um, Actually, it makes me beautifully imperfect, which is honestly where all of us are. Please show me a perfect person. Please show me. Reach out and let me know that you found that person. Maybe it's you, and let me come meet them, because I would like to meet somebody who is perfect. Now, I can meet plenty of people who think they're perfect. That's easy. But somebody who's actually really perfect, just let me know if you come across that person, okay? Because I haven't yet, and I've had to realize I'm not perfect, and that's okay. And the idea is that I'm learning. The idea is I'm growing. The idea is that I'm getting better every day. And my motto is always, if I can get better, even if it's just a baby step forward every single day, then that's success. So I'll give you an example. I started doing yoga about a year and a half ago, and I love it. I think it's a great thing on so many different levels. And then actually, I might do an episode about yoga and about the idea of exercise and movement and how that helps in our sobriety. Maybe in a new year, I might be doing that, which actually might bring in a guest. I've been kind of mulling this around and thinking about it. Um, who's in sobriety and actually runs a yoga program herself. So she might be a fun guest to have. But yoga is one of those things that has really humbled me. So today I was at yoga and a couple of things happened. One, there's a couple of things where there's balance parts, not major balance parts, but some balance parts. And I really recognize that I'm not strong there. And in the old days, not that long ago, I would get frustrated by that, and I would be embarrassed, and I would feel, that I'm not good enough, and I shouldn't be doing this, and what am I thinking? Why am I here? Now I just realize it's who I am right now in the practice of yoga, and it's something I have to work on. And the way that I approach it now, instead of having all those other thoughts of not being good enough, I approach it now as like, okay, well, what part of this is difficult for me, and what is it maybe that I need to work on to get better at this? So in one situation today, I realized that I really needed to get better in my strength in my legs, and have a stronger base, a stronger foundation, in order to do some of the things that I'm trying to do. So that is something I know I can work on, and I know I can get better at. I may not get better at it overnight, but I can get better at it. And I can get stronger in my lower legs, which is actually going to serve me as a runner as well, and certainly in the gym. So all around is going to benefit me, and just in life. As I get older, having a stronger base and good balance is gonna allow me to live a long life. So, all that is good. So this idea of focusing in on that thing versus getting all worked up over not being perfect is really where I'm at today. And that's excuse me, there it is. Um, and I'm good with that, and that's absolutely fine. So I want to, keep making sure that I'm working on those kinds of things. I also had to be humble in terms of not knowing it all in sobriety. I can sit on here and do this podcast. I can cover and lead meetings and all that stuff, and I can come up with concepts and themes and all this that we can talk about, and I can wax poetic about a lot of it easily. Intellectually, I can get it all and talk about it. But that doesn't mean it's all being applied very well in my own life. And that doesn't mean there's days that I don't apply it and where I need to apply it. Somebody who told me this in yoga, she's a yoga teacher, and I actually take her class a lot. And she was talking about the practice, and we call yoga a practice. And so, which means that even the teacher is in their own practice. So as they are teaching, they are learning themselves, and they are getting better themselves at different poses, at different flows, at different things that they might be trying to do. Sobriety is the same thing. Sobriety is a practice. It's an idea that we keep working at and we keep getting better at. And every day we get a little bit better. I always love, the people that keep coming back after a slip, meaning they maybe had a few days and then they go back out and drink again, but they keep coming back. And every time they come back, they're like, but I know a little bit more now. I know a little bit more now. I understand a little bit more about this now. I'm seeing things differently now. And that's the learning, right? That's the practice. So that's what this is. It's a practice. So within a practice, we can be humble, right? Because when we call it practice, it means we're trying to get better, right? When we're calling it a show, or when we're calling it, hey, I'm really good at this, now the practice is over and we're supposed to be perfect. So when we tell ourselves that we're in this show, that we have to, be perfect, whether it's in the yoga studio, whether it's in our own sobriety, and we don't, and we're not perfect, then when we have these slips, these moments where, like, I didn't have a lot of balance today, at yoga, or I had a slip in recovery and I went out and drank. Well, if I use that idea or that term that I'm supposed to be in the show, I'm going to really struggle to get back on the horse, because I'm going to feel like a failure. I'm going to feel like I can't do it. But same with yoga. If I feel like I'm an embarrassment and I shouldn't be there and nobody else has experienced that, I may not go back, right? So the idea of getting humble and realizing everything we're doing is a practice. Everything we do, everything we're involved in is a practice. We're trying to get better at it every day. Think about your job. Were you great at it the first day you started? No. Are there still things that you can learn at your job? I'm going to guess the answer to that would be yes. And even if, say, you got a promotion, there are going to be things in that part of the job that you're going to have to learn, right, and get better at. So it's all part of it. It's all part of the practice. So I think if we think about our acceptance of ourselves and think about acceptance of others during this time of year that we're in, and if we think about being humble to who we are, being humble, and realize that we're in a practice, that we're practicing getting better at sobriety. We're practicing at getting better at yoga. We're practicing at getting better as a runner. We're practicing getting better at our jobs. We're practicing. We're every day we get a little bit better. And we can approach it that way. Then it doesn't mean we have to go out and tell everybody that. But in our own heads, we can say, hey, I'm learning today. I'm getting better today. What can I learn today in my job? What can I learn today at yoga? What can I learn today about my own sobriety? We allow ourselves to do that. We will get better and better. Okay, that was a lot. I'm trying to keep it into a pretty tight window, which isn't working out so well. So I want to kind of let this be and leave it where it's at. Please reach out if you have any questions or any concerns. I would love to chat with you. Like I said, I'm going to do another episode next week, but I will talk to you all soon. So take care.